Hey, what's going on, guys? Super Trucker Tim here again. Awake at the butt crack of dawn on my day off. 5:30. And it's because I always get up way earlier than this on work days, and woke up to find a receipt. My wife's car was having charging problems. Wasn't charging the battery. So I barely had enough time to tear into it, charge the battery a little bit. Only to find out she took it to a shop I didn't know about. They did nothing and charged her $600, and the car is still not charging. So we're going to look into it, break down the receipt, and see if they actually did anything of any kind. And we're going to make a video about this. Thanks.
Auto Tech 2, Lisa here. How can I help you?
Oh, hi. I was calling because my wife brought our car in there, and I got a receipt, and I was just trying to understand the receipt, how it was broke down and what she was being charged for.
Okay, hold on just a moment, please.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good, sir.
Hey, the reason I was calling is I was just trying to understand the receipt. My wife brought our car in, and I can't quite make heads or tails out of the chargers.
Okay, well, what's your phone number so I can look it up so I can see what you're looking at?
541.
That's on the Journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see what we did here. It looks like we did a electrical system test to verify that there was no issues with the alternator and the charging system. And the reason being is if you look where it says notes, you see all those codes that are there?
Yeah.
Those are all the codes that were in the system, and that's the reason why we did the electrical system test, to verify that there wasn't an issue with the charging system. And then in the middle there's one code for the oil pressure sensor, which says low current, and then it also says above it, which oil pressure sensor current, which is pending. And basically the reason why we replaced that, which if you look at the bottom, was the cost of the $470 plus the taxes. We replaced that because that sensor was in real time malfunctioning as we were checking the system. That's why we did the computer system test. And that sensor is underneath the intake manifold. That's why there's a gasket on there that says intake manifold gasket set.
Okay.
So that's why we replaced it. Everything else that was on there was if it needed the alternator, if it needed the battery, those were all estimates, which should actually been erased off the ticket is what it should have been.
Okay.
So the only thing that she paid was the electrical system test, the diagnostic for the computer system, and then the repair was replacement of that oil pressure switch, which was part gasket and labor.
Okay.
Which came up to be, let's see, how much was that? It was $695.22.
Okay, and the reason I ask is because I guess there's miscommunication between her and I, because I thought she was bringing it in for you guys because the battery was not charging, and she brought it home and it still isn't. So it's still dying on her. So did you guys ever figure out why that was happening, or?
Yes, that's why the electrical system test, when we checked it out and everything actually tested fine. Let's see where it has here. Let's see. We checked the harness to make sure that there was no issues with the harness that come up in the voltage issues that we were seeing, which was all pending codes is what it was. That was the reason why we didn't recommend to do the battery or the alternator, because all that stuff was actually fine. But you're saying that it was dead this morning or whenever?
Yeah, it died on her again. That's why I didn't know if you guys had actually worked on that problem or a different problem.
Yeah, we actually worked on both the problems is what we did, and that's why when we found that we didn't see any issues with that part, because unless there's something going on with the system, like if there's a parasitic draw or something that's draining the battery down, because it wasn't working fine, and then it sat overnight, and then she came out and it was dead again.
Yeah, it died on the way home from the shop.
It died on the way home from the shop. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to charge it again just to get it here, and I got it sitting on the charger right now. So whatever she took it in there for is still an issue. Is what I'm saying. That's why I was hoping you guys had found something, but doesn't sound like it, huh?
No, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to check that charging system again, because if it died on the way to your house, so that's what we're going to have to do. So you guys want to bring it back for us to look at it, because we're this week obviously is going to be bad.
Well, here's my question: is if she brought it in there for that service, is it still under warranty?
Well, we didn't replace the alternator. If the alternator is the issue, like I said, we did check to see if there was that issue with the alternator and the battery and stuff, and that didn't come up as bad. So if we need to recheck that again, there's really nothing under warranty, because we didn't replace any of that stuff. The check engine light was on as well, which when we did check the check engine light, that was coming up with that oil pressure sensor, which has been replaced, which obviously we'll recheck again to make sure that's not an issue, because before it was basically dropping voltage out of that sensor itself by itself.
Okay, so you guys thought the oil sensor might have been the issue, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
We checked the system out. The first thing we did was just a basic charging system test, okay? Because that was what was on the paper. We checked the charging system, and the charging system was coming up as the alternator is doing okay, and the battery tested as all right. It didn't look very good because of the location where the battery is. It's in the fender. Okay, but they tested fine. So then we did a computer system test to see if there was any issues in the system, and that's why we found all of those codes in the system, and the codes that came up were numerous.
Yeah.
So once we replaced that, the issue that we saw on the computer, which was the oil pressure sensor, which was coming up as it's supposed to be 5 volts or a little bit less, and it'll show 4 volts, and then it went to 0. Then it'll go 4 volts, then it went to 0. So that was malfunctioning. We replaced that sensor, and that sensor is working as it should.
Okay. All right.
So she had 2 issues going on there, and obviously for some reason that sensor or the charging system is not doing what it's supposed to be doing because of whatever reason, because like I said, we tested that first because it's the simplest test to do.
Yeah, okay.
Because even it says here on the notes, it says AutoZone said alternator and battery checked good. We checked that also, and it checked out fine.
Okay. All right. So shoot, I guess the next step is like you're saying, try to figure out what the actual I'm trying to figure it out myself, because the battery obviously isn't getting any voltage of any kind. So there's something, I'm guessing there's something between the alternator and the battery itself that's something's interrupting the feed, and you guys didn't find anything.
No, we came up with the charging system was doing its job.
Okay.
So something's going on where the battery is not getting the charge. If you guys have died on the way and you have it on a charge right at this moment, that's what we're going to have to recheck.
Okay, and so there would be additional charges for that.
Well, if we have to get into checking the harness and checking, actual pin test, let's say if it's the computer that's causing the issue, that would be a different charge altogether, even from the computer test that we did before, because those are harness issues.
Okay.
And which we are capable of doing. We just takes time.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, all right. Well, I will talk to her about the next, what we want to do next.
Yep, just let us know when you want to either send the car down again or tow it in or what have you. Whichever way you want to do it, just give us a call, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, so let me translate what was said just now. Okay, so I asked him a couple key questions. Was anything warranted? And what exactly did you do? Now, I worked in the world of politics for a few years, and so I can translate accurately the language of bullshitting. So I'll translate everything he said, guys. He pretty much said, your wife came here with these complaints. You're right, I didn't really do much of anything. I tested a few things. I fixed this one part that had nothing to do with the problem that she brought it here for. If there's additional problems, bring it back in here. I'm going to charge you again even more money. I already raked you over the coals for $700, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if I take him to small claims court, I'll lose, because this guy's good and he knows how to word things. And I got taken, you know, as an expensive lesson. Don't take your cars to the shop, guys. You know, it's my bad, because the same checks and balances aren't here in Florida as they are in Oregon. So normally I would get taken for $100, $200. This time I got taken for a whole hell of a lot more. So I will never go back to another shop in Florida. There's good and bad points to every state, and every state's different policies and politics. This is a bad one. I hate mom and pop shops. Everybody says small business. No. Small businesses are the worst at corruption and raking you over the coals, as is proven here. And so that's why I like the big mega shops, because they have policies and they have certain things that keep you from getting raked over the coals so badly. So anyhow, guys, now I'm on my own. Let's see if I can repair this thing on my own, and if I'm right and I can completely prove this guy wrong, I'm going to throw it in his face. At least I'll get a little bit of pleasure out of doing that. So when I put this wheel back on last time, I put it on just tight enough to hold the wheel on, because I knew I was going to take it off. So if these lug nuts are loose, I know those guys didn't do anything to the battery. So let's check it. Came off super easy, guys. That one came off even easier. Super easy. These quote-unquote mechanics did nothing to the battery. I already know that right now. Well, let's go inside anyway and take a look. So, there's where the battery is. The only way to get to it is to take this wheel off. So they have not done anything here. So let's take this battery out and check this out. Alright guys, battery's out. Everything's filthy and gross in there, so nothing has been done. I'm going to clean all these terminals and put them back, and we'll clean the battery terminals also. Here they are, guys. You can tell they're filthy. So these guys really did nothing that I can see so far. Alright, battery was just tested. Battery is good, so now it's time to put it back in. One thing those guys did tell my wife is that there was a rat living in here, which there is evidence of a rat, which is funny because they're rats ratting out a rat. Dirty sneak thief rats. Guys, so step one, take off your tire, which I've done to get to the battery. Disconnect the battery using a 10mm socket right here. So you're disconnected all your power. Come around here. You're gonna have to disconnect this radiator hose, and you can tell I've got a bucket down there to catch everything. So set your hose aside, then disconnect this hose here, get that out of your way, and you can I just stuck a cloth in here to kind of control some of the leakage. All right, so I pull this electrical cover off. Now that I've got the 3 bolts out of the side, and I'll come in and release the electrical connection to the alternator on this side. And last off, guys, you have this connection right here that comes off the back side of your alternator. And now the alternator is free, and you just have to work it through all this stuff to get it up. I got it up out of there, guys. It was no picnic, and I couldn't videotape it because it takes both hands to pull it up out of there. You just have to maneuver it, turn it several times, and get it through all these hoses, but eventually it will come up. So here you go. You've got your 2 bolts right here. They go in through the front and 1 on the side, and it sits like this, just like this, with 1 bolt going down to the bottom, just like that, and then these 2 bolts coming up this way, and then your serpentine belt goes around right here, and then your connections are around the back side. If I tape that, I want to show my kid. I've never seen that before. Here's the new alternator, guys. So here's a little tip that helped me. Leave these 2 front bolts loose until you can move this side bolt around to get the threads lined up, because it will fight you. So you need some kind of play in there to kind of get the side bolt lined up. And so do that, get that started before you tighten these front bolts. That'll help. Another tip that might help you guys, get an extra long deep socket so that you can get on the other side of some of these hoses, and then you can get a full range of a turn. That helps too. Okay guys, so now the battery symbol that was right here is now gone. It was there even when it was sitting idle like this, and I've been running it, so the symbol's gone. So it was the alternator. All right guys, so now let's start her up, and I'm gonna run it for a little bit and see if that battery light comes on. Battery light is off. So this was a quick alternator change. That's all this was. That was the problem. All right, so yeah, it's running good now. It's charging. The battery light is off. That part is fixed. So here's my consensus, guys. Autotech 2 is the name of this place on Highway 200 in Ocala, Florida. And I've read the Yelp reviews. One guy called them a den of thieves. Another person called them liars, and another person said they like to say pretty much F the customer. That's been my experience here, because these guys took advantage of my wife. They saw her come in. She didn't know anything about cars. Charged her $700. And the problem was still there. They did nothing but inspections and changed an oil sensor. This guy is good. He is one of the best smokescreen liars. Professional grade Paramount BSer. Really premium liar con artist. This guy should have been a lawyer. He's good. I can't even sue him. That's how good he is.
And the reason I can't sue him is because he's covered his bases. He can smoke screen dog crap and BS his way through the charges. If I was dumber and I couldn't translate his language and what he was saying, yeah, he could take advantage of me. There are people out there who are not dumb, but are very trusting and think, oh, no one's going to do this to me. These guys are terrible. And, you know, I can't sue him with a parking lot square dance. Oh, man. Yeah. Just premium dirtbag and a professional scumbag at that. This guy is really good. He's been doing this a while. They must teach this in class on how to take advantage of people, because that's what this guy has clearly done. So anyhow, guys, watch out. It's called Auto Tech 2, Ocala, Florida, Highway 200. Here's the address. Beware. Do not go there. These guys are horrible. So anyhow, guys, I fixed the problem. I showed you that don't go to a garage. Okay, guys? Stay out of the garage. Everybody's got your redneck buddy who knows how to work on cars. Even these later cars can be worked on. You know, find a friend, somebody you trust, a mechanic at a workplace that you know who's really good. Stay out of the shops. These people are absolutely terrible. I mean, I've been raked over the coals before for like $240 to $400, but never up to $700. This is like new level of son of a bitch. So, you know, just watch yourself, guys. And dude, hey, you, the mechanic there, if you see this video and you want a piece of the old super trucker, oh man, just comment. Oh man, I'll dig into you just like a piece of devil's food cake. Oh man, I would absolutely love to have a square dance with you.